Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your breakfast bankroll for Tuesday, March 21st, 2022. Another day. Can you believe this month is almost over? Holy crap. I mean, it just flies. It just flies. We are literally, 10 days, 9 days left in this month, 3 months into 2022 as we get closer to April, closer to March Madness. We tipping off again on Thursday. Kind of a nice quiet tone yesterday and assuming today. Apologies, no breakfast bank. No closing bell yesterday. Really got tied up at South Point. Had a 2-hour sit down with Bernie Fratto at Fox Sports Radio, and then our buddy Dave Sharapan at Sportsbook Consig and Cash Out Considerations comes in. So there's another 45 minutes. Bernie departs. Me and Dave get lunch, and who walks by but Josh Towers, who last year I met for the first time there before he went into his show, had a great conversation. Well, he sits down with us and shoots the poop for 15, 20 minutes before he headed on to VEASAN. Some great talks. And my apologies. I was not aware of this. Xander, maybe I should ask Scott this. I didn't know if Scott knows this either. Xander signed through 27. I know they gave him an extension. I think it's literally he's making 20 per. So I dropped the ball there. I thought he was coming up in the next year or two, but 27, we got plenty of time for Xander and Story. And I'll just tell you what Josh told us, and then I'm going to ask Scott this as well. Trevor told the world he wasn't playing second base. So this is kind of sort of why it took so long. And he was like, nope. And then maybe he was playing a lot of teams because he didn't want to go there, but he ended up so far with the Red Sox at second base. VIPs, we're rolling. We're rolling. Yesterday, T-Wolves plus 2.5. We won by the hook. If you didn't see the last minute, absolutely crazy bedlam. How we covered, I don't know. But we'll take it. Nice to be on the right side of the hook. And then the wild puck line, plus 145 against the Knights, 3-0 winner. 2-0 plus 2.45 units last night. 13-4 our last 17. So we're on fire. But enough from me. Let's bring him in. The man from the Palm Tree State himself. The one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb.
What is that? Jeff? Sounds like you might need a throat lozenge and all that talking you're doing out there with all these people.
I limp. I leave the suite with that nice pep, that nice step, that nice here I come. And let me just tell you, I limp back, and I can't get back quick enough. Dinner in hand, and let me see. I think I was back at around 8. I was out by 9:15. I'm telling you, not that I sleep through the whole night, but still midnight back where you are. So, the Josh Towers conversation was great. I was not aware that they had him signed through 2027. He looked it up for me. But it's nice to talk to a player who's working at VEASAN now, but from his perspective, and it just sheds so much light on, like he said, he's glad for the players. He's glad for so-and-so. He's glad for this. But he actually, like yourself, gives you that insight from when they are there. And then they take that with them. Even though they're not there right now, they still will always take it with them.
Well, it's a different look at things, maybe. I know that I say things or look at things in a lot different realm of perspective than fans do. So I know a lot of times I'm not always on the same page with a fan. because, there's certain reasons why things are being done that people don't see or don't understand. And when you've been inside the game a little bit, some of that stuff, you just kind of know what's going on. And, some of it you can explain, and some of it maybe doesn't get explained as well. So good for him. I mean, if he's able to say certain things that people can gravitate to, that's great. I mean, I think Josh does some good work. So it's one of those things where, having a voice like that, where you have sort of an inside guy, a pitcher for that matter, that is being able to talk about stuff, that's pretty good. I will say, the Trevor Story thing is kind of an interesting deal in the sense that, okay, he doesn't want to play second base. But the truth of the matter is that he probably needs to play second base. I say that not in a mean way. I mean, he's a plus defender at shortstop, so you would think he's going to be a plus defender at second base. But that's not why you get Trevor Story. You get Trevor Story because you think he's an offensive dynamo. And the truth of the matter is, I think that he's not the biggest guy that's going to be the dynamo at shortstop. If you put him at second base, I think you're going to have a better, power shot for him, because there's a lot of good shortstops, and there's a lot of good hitting shortstops, and there's a reason why Trevor Story went last. So I don't mean that disrespectfully to Trevor Story. So don't think I don't think he's a player, but if you compare him to a lot of shortstops, he's going to be in the middle of the class. He's not going to be in the top.
No, and again, I think out loud here, and again, I know the Red Sox have no pitching. I do not have any expectations for them, and it kind of hurts me. But I didn't have expectations last year, so maybe they pull a miracle out of there. You know what? But just the infield and the depth. The lineup, Scott, and I'll just put them in between, a Bogarts, Devers, Story, where they're going to put that in the lineup, whether Verdugo's up top or Hernandez. I'm okay, obviously, with that. And defensively, Scott, I've heard that the Sox defensively in the outfield, one of the best in the game. I don't know what you look at for measures and numbers or whatever, but Hernandez, Bradley, and I would assume Verdugo will be out in the outfield for the Sox.
Well, I'm looking at baseball. What is this thing called? Roster Resource. And Roster Resource, their lineup isn't always as most accurate as it's going to be, but it's a guesstimate of what they think is going to happen. And their lineup says they got Hernandez leading off, followed by Devers, Bogarts, Martinez, Story, then Verdugo, Dahlbeck, Vasquez, and Bradley. So that's how they're gonna roll with it. Pretty close. And what they try to do, and a lot of these guys and these things, they try to do right, left, all the way down if they can. So I think that if you jumble it up, with putting Verdugo at the top, then you're going to end up with left with him and Devers, unless you're going to bat Devers third or something. So it's just one of those spots, I think, where Story turns up batting fifth in this lineup, and he might bat sixth. He could go, but that would put a bunch of right-handed batters together. So I guess maybe they just split it up the way it is. I think the Red Sox are. I mean, this is going to sound silly, but I think the Red Sox are going to be as good as JD Martinez can be this year, because if you're going to put him in the in the fourth hole, and he's going to need to be JD Martinez of maybe 3 years ago, where he's hitting 30 home runs and driving in 100 RBIs, and these guys are getting on base. So they need to get that guy again, and if he's that guy, I think that they're going to have a pretty good success, because you can go a little bit here, and you got a pretty good lineup. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted sometimes on, I just did a thing and I sent it to you in email, but I just did a thing here where I've got every division broke down, and then I broke it down by players that are 3.5 WAR or better on offense, and then 2.2 WAR or better on starting pitching, and then broke down their bullpen and all that stuff's all together on one page, and then some notes and some different things on who came and who went and what they're looking for and what they need, and that kind of stuff, and then the projected numbers and the team wins and all that. It's all right there on that one thing I sent you. Anyway, all that being said, some of these teams are really interesting because, like the Yankees, for example, not to try to stay away from the Red Sox, but like the Yankees, they have two guys that are really, really good. I mean, you got Judge, who's a 5 WAR player. That means he's almost MVP kind of player if he does well, and then you have the other guy that shows up on their list is Joey Gallo, and you wouldn't even think he would be the next guy on the list, but he's the guy that shows up on their list, and then a lot of these other guys fall off right underneath that number. And they're all about that way for the Yankees. They have a whole bunch of guys that are between, say, 3 and 3.5, but don't get over the 3.5 number. The 3.5 is a key number because, those are the all-star kind of players. So they got a lot of borderline all-star type players, but they've got a problem, and their problem is just getting guys on base. And then, you got to have clutch hits. And I don't think the Yankees, for years and years were known for getting those clutch hits and driving in those RBIs. I don't know that they got those guys. So it'll be interesting to see how all of it plays out because their lineup, if you don't have a true leadoff hitter, then you kind of run into it. And, a lot of the American League teams, especially in the American League East, don't really have true leadoff hitters anymore. So, and I would tell you, Aaron Judge is not a second place hitter either. So, I know that that's the new thing in Major League Baseball where they want to put their best hitter batting second instead of batting third. But I don't like it that well. I just don't know that it makes the lineup that well. Your leadoff guy doesn't get on base, and then all of a sudden you get a solo home run. Who gives a crap? That's not a good thing. So I know what it's about. It's about at-bats. What they do is they look at that and they say, okay, well, your first two guys, they get up, 600 times in a season. And if they bat third or fourth or fifth, they only might bat 500 times in a season instead of 600 times. So you want to get them that extra 100 at-bats. I get it. Especially when you're best player. You want to get your best player those kind of at-bats. But your lineup is what wins games. It's not how many times a player bats. It's how many times that player is in a position to produce runs. And run production is extremely important in today's game because hitters are stupid and pitchers are smart. So, it's all about that kind of shit. And, it is what it is, I guess.
Just quickly, Mad Max just steps on the field and is Mad Max. And, the guy that just keeps on going, listen, nothing against Max, and I was dead wrong. I loved him in Detroit, comes over and the National League, and he just is Max. I mean, what are you going to say? I can't just give him the ball, and you get what you got. I know it's a spring training game. I get all that. Trust me. But the fact is, 5 strikeouts, just business as usual, gives up a run, whatever. But I'm just waiting, and I am not the guy that roots against anyone. I believe in karma. There are so many innings on that damn arm. Can he tell some of the younger guys coming up and the guys trying to hold on in the MLB what he's taking, what he eats, what's his regimen? Help the guys out, Max.
Well, I think there's two things there. I think one, it's the mentality of him. He's got the Oral Hershiser mentality, the bulldogish mentality.
Oh, let me cut you off. I should forward these to you. I will have to. Sunday, we were at the Cosmopolitan, kind of towards the front row of the sports book, watching the games. right behind us in the second row, 6 seats over, Oral Horsheiser.
He's getting into that stuff a little bit. I mean, he's playing poker and stuff now too. So I think he's going to be probably getting into that gambling world a little bit. But I will say this with Max. Max is a Nolan Ryan guy. So why did Nolan Ryan pitch so long with such velocity? It's their legs, Jeff. It's their legs, not their arm. It's their legs. And he takes care of his legs, and he if you watch him pitch, it's all about how much push off he gets and how much stuff he gets with his legs. And you can watch these guys that throw nice and smooth and all that stuff, and those are the guys that their arms are going to fall off. It's the guys that really work their legs that save the wear and tear on the arm. So that's why Max is doing so well. But I will tell you this, Max was averaging 93.6 miles an hour, and that's down from 94.3. So that doesn't mean I shouldn't say it that way. It means he is more hittable, but it doesn't mean that he's a bad pitcher. So don't take it that way. You really need to lose a couple miles an hour velocity to be a problem, but it is worth watching and see where they are. Now, their first time out doesn't always mean that they don't get better the second time or the third time, or, as they go a little bit and get more loosened up. But I will say that it's something to watch because if he falls into that 92 range, which I don't think he's going to, but if he were, that's pretty average as a fastball, and that thing better move a lot, or he's going to get hit.
NBA tonight. I know it's early. Well, it's 11:14 in your neck of the woods. I've been up. Actually, I was up at 4 a.m. this morning, which was 7 in your neck of the woods. Put the coffee on, grabbed a cup, got some notes done, and then grabbed a quick 30 more, and then we're back here now. How's the NBA looking?
Well, yesterday I went 1-1. Was a little bit mad at the Charlotte Hornets yesterday. They were -6. I liked them pretty good yesterday against New Orleans. They sucked ass all the way through the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter turned it on and blitzed them. But they won the game, only won by 3. And then I had an over game that went way over. It was not a problem. It was that Boston game. That was just one of the easy overs that we could have had. In today's market, there's only 4 games. One of the games I liked, which was Chicago, Milwaukee. The opening line was 231 on the total. I liked it to go over, but now it's bet up to 234. My number's 238, so I'm playing off it. I'm not going to play that game. The only one I'm looking at right now, Jeff, is Denver plays the Clippers tonight, and this is probably too close for me to bet too, so I'm probably not going to play it. But right now, the line opened Denver -8, and people seem to think that's too many, and they're betting on the Clippers, so it's down to 6.5. I actually say it should be 8.5. So I kind of like the idea here that people are betting the wrong way, and I want to follow that and see what it looks like as we get closer to 4:30, 5 o'clock, or whenever, because this afternoon is going to be a little silly for us on what we're doing for the closing bell show, or if we're going to do baseball shows. But I think that that's the only one that is of interest to me, because the other ones are real close to my numbers. The Golden State number was opened at 8.5. It's 7.5 now. My number was 7.5, and the total was 219 or 218, and mine's 219. So I'm not, that's too close for me. And then the other one was Atlanta and New York, and people seem to like Atlanta today. It's -1.5 at it opened. Now it's -3, and my number says 1.5. So I'm just going to leave that alone for now and believe, that the total's about right. So my total was 227, and it's 226.5. So I'm not seeing enough variance in these numbers to really go anywhere with it. And Denver's the only one that's halfway close to where I would even think about it. But that number's got to come down a little bit more, and we got to get more public money on the Clippers there, and then I might throw throw a number in there, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be a total pass for me on the NBA, probably.
Nothing I saw that was jumping off the page in the CIB, but I'll give you 4 games in the NHL that caught my eye. We've been rolling, like I said, 13-4 our last 17. Grabbed a nice puck line on the Wild last night, plus 145 against the Knights. Tonight, rotation number 44, Scott. Carolina opened up minus 125 against your Lightning. Now steamed down to 109. But you're going to see, guys, on these 3 games that I give you, respect and trust the opening line. I think the Carolina minus 125, a little statement there. I don't know what you have for numbers right now, Scott.
Well, I am showing current number at Carolina minus 115, but that's on pregame, so sometimes that number doesn't always match up. But it's minus 115 there, and they're showing only 10,000 on the game so far, but that's the second most in the NHL right now. And it's showing 88% of the money is on Carolina, and 66% of the tickets is on Tampa Bay.
Okay, so keep an eye on Carolina tonight. I think that will drop down. A lot of people around these neck of the woods love the plus money, obviously, on the Lightning. So, but the eye opener there was Carolina opening at 125. Here's another one. Rotation number 47, Scotty. Rangers opened up minus 180. Now I'm seeing them at minus 141 at the Devils. But again, the eye opener is the Rangers minus 180.
I'm showing Rangers minus 135 and $9,100 on the game, and 91% of the money and 89% of the tickets are on the Rangers.
Okay. Rotation number 58, Dallas opened up minus 145, now 121 against the Oilers. Yes, the Oilers did play last night. Yes, they did lose in overtime. But again, it's more in the eyes. Anyone in these spaces that listen to us regularly, Mr. Sean Alvarez, I hope you're here this morning. In hockey especially, it's grabbing the opening number with your eyes, and then you usually see a 20, 25, sometimes 30-cent drop off. Okay, so as the days go and people will see, holy moly, the Rangers opened up at 180. They steamed down all the way down to 135. No, remember to go back to that opening number. A lot of times it's a correction. It's not that all of a sudden someone dropped 5,000 here, 7,000 here to move that number. So it's kind of a correction. And I was talking to our buddy Billy Cullen yesterday about this. It's funny. The eyes are trained to do exactly what I just said in hockey. But if I see it in a basketball game, my eyes and brain are trained to, oh my God, look, you got to follow that number. You know, the overnight number last night, Scott, in Dallas was 4. Against the T-Wolves. The actual opening number was 2. Okay. We got them at 2.5. We bought the hook. We won by the hook. The last 30 seconds were so stupid. We had no right. Actually, we should have won the game outright. Then we shouldn't have covered. Then we should have won it outright. Then we had no right covering at all. And it was just bedlam. But again, that's how these eyes and minds are trained here. But again, opened at 145, Scott, now down to 21 on the Dallas Stars.
I'm showing Dallas at 120 right now, and $3,100 on the game, 52% of the money, 77% of the tickets on Dallas.
And this one, again, not as much oomph I have right now. Just, again, caught my eyes a little. Rotation number 64, Kings opened up minus 120. I have them now at minus 117, Scott.
I'm seeing 115. And $3,400 on the game, 82% of the money on the Kings, and 76% of the tickets on Nashville.
Okay. Again, kind of surprised Kings opening up as a favorite. I know they're at home and stuff, but just keep an eye on that. So Hurricanes, Rangers, Stars, and Kings. We hope to do a closing bell today. Conflict of scheduling might be tough today. We're going to try to squeeze it in. If we don't get back, reach out on our timelines on EC Sports Invest at Webby20 MLB. DM us, whatever. Ask as many questions as you can. Scotty, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'm just ready to go. I mean, baseball season's almost 2 weeks away now. I think DeGrom pitches today, and you get some of these guys that are now pitching in their second time. So I want to kind of see how far they go. So, these guys have been pitching 2 and 3 innings so far. More of them have been pitching 2 than 3, but there's been several that pitched 3 innings. I'd like to see them go, 4 innings at least this time. So that the next time they go 5, and then they're ready to go 6, 7 innings by the time opening day comes around. And then keep an eye on the injuries, guys. There's issues out there that happen everywhere, and it matters, and especially if you're going to get ready to play team totals. So for example, the Tampa Rays are looking at Shane Baz being out now for about 3 or 4 weeks because he just had I call them floaties, but he had stuff in his elbow. He had to have that stuff taken out, just loose impediments and stuff. So, you got to deal with that as they come along, and you got to watch Wheeler for Philadelphia. He's been pushed back a couple of days, not anything major. He's going to be able to pitch, but he might not be the opening starter because of it. But he won't miss anything. He probably won't miss his rotations and stuff, but you just got to watch these guys as they come along. And I think so far we've been pretty good about nobody really getting hurt. So that's really a good thing, other than, the stupid guy out to Tatis, but he did that stupid shit in the off season. So whatever. Reminds me about that Kellen Winslow kid. Kellen Winslow Jr. wrecked his motorcycle and stuff. But anyway, it's all the same kind of stuff. So you just got to watch and pay attention, because this is where you can start formulating some early opinions that you get right. You can ride for a while, because the books don't. Baseball is 162 games in 6 months. So they don't move stuff around very fast. And if you can jump on it early, you can ride that for a little while before the adjustment comes to you.
For myself, it's Tuesday, a couple of days before the madness. Eyes are real sharp right now. And that's good. But, as we talk and we get closer to baseball, that's a whole nother sport. That's a whole nother ball game to tackle. And the funny thing, I go back to last year, we were struggling early. We got every bad break ever created, whether it's, I always talk about the ninth inning, it's the leadoff walk, it's the pass ball, it's the dribbler to the right side, and then it's a sack fly to left, and then you're in extras. And there was no hit, there was no ball, nothing. And now we got to go to the bullpen. But this year, there's no guys that starting on second base, so that's a blessing. But just ride the wave, enjoy it. There is so much out there right now. I just think if everyone can get focused on exactly what they're doing, what they do well, what they need help on, and what they need to scrap. I was talking to a lot of people out here and, coming up to me, asking me questions, and I'm an open book. I stated, Scotty, 7 years ago when we went public, I was just using Sports Insights. That was my only site I'm using. And I'm with Don Best now. We're with Sports Insights. We're with Wager Talk, Ken Palm and Hoops, pregame. A lot of connections out here in Vegas. Guys behind the desk. Open up your social network as well. And take stuff from us. Take stuff from yourself. Take stuff from who else you like to listen to. The people that aren't doing anything for you, block them, mute them, put the blinders on, and just keep working. It's a day-to-day process. It's a grind. That's why we call it a marathon. And that's why I say, if your shoes you got no tread on your shoes, go down the finish line, get yourself a new pair of Nikes.
Yeah, I think that the biggest points there are a couple of things. I think one, you don't have to fight these battles alone. You can fight these battles however you want to. You're the one who's in charge of your own money. So as you make your wagers, you're the one responsible for putting them at the window. So wherever you get your information from, And however you use that information, that's up to you. But I will say this. You have to have filters, and you have to have good information that comes. And I don't mean good information. It's the wrong way to say it. You need to have trustworthy information that comes, so that anything that comes to you, you need to take and put that into thought in what it is that you're going to make your wagers on. Because as you get through it, and some people come to you and they say this or they say that or they say this or they say that, you just turn that out automatically. Well, don't even listen. That shouldn't even be part of the equation. So you need to listen and gain information, because that's how you win. You win by what you know, and then you act upon what you know, and that becomes your edge. So the more you know, the better off you're going to find an edge. So that's what you have to do. You have to find an edge, and you have to look at a lot of stuff, but filter out the stuff that doesn't work. In baseball, that's kind of tough, because there's 75 million damn stats out there and different things people talk about. And this guy doesn't win on Tuesday, and this guy wins, when he falls out of bed the right way. And then this guy only wins when he plays, the left-handed batters. And what are you talking about?
Oh, there's a million ways to skin that cat, and we'll be talking about that. So keep your eyes on our timeline and stuff. Don't know what the afternoon/evening will bring. I do know my time at 5:25 to 5:40, I will be on with Anthony Pepe, CT Betts, Chris Thurston on the Diehards back east. They've asked me to come on Tuesday this week instead of Friday. We're trying to get our baseball shows up and running, trying to get to a closing bell. Again, everyone just be patient, bear with us. We will get all that information out to you come hell or high water. So with that, if you are wagering today, always, always, always wager responsibly, invest responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up that phone. There's an 800 number available. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scotty care. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from my co-host, my partner in crime, from the Palm Tree States himself, Mr. Scotty Webb at Webby20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day. Have a ball. Enjoy the games in action. And we'll see you soon. I don't know how soon, but soon.